Rennie Lima Marin. Rennie Lima Marin was supposed to die in prison. A 98-year sentence, no parole, that's end-of-the-line type stuff. But in 2008, he walked out the front door, free. A clerical error happened. The court clerk wrote down the wrong sentence. Instead of 98 years, the file said concurrent terms, which meant he'd only serve about 10. Nobody double-checked, nobody noticed. So Lima Marin got out. He didn't run. He didn't hide. He got a job, married his high school girlfriend, raised 2 kids, went to church. For 6 years, he lived like a model citizen. Then, in 2014, the system realized the mistake. Cops stormed his house, he was ripped away from his family, thrown back in like nothing ever happened. Judges said it didn't matter that he'd changed. The original sentence stood. Paperwork glitch or not, he had 90 years left to go. It wasn't about justice anymore. It was about erasing the system's embarrassment. Rennie Lima Marin lived the American dream for 6 years, then had it shredded by the same machine that set him free. It didn't stop with the first one. Continue watching to see the other. Prison system glitches. Stay tuned. Richard Lee McNair. Richard Lee McNair didn't just escape prison. He did it 3 times, each one more ridiculous than the last. The most famous one is the bedsheets and boldness. In 2006, he was locked up in a federal pen in Louisiana, supposedly high security. McNair wasn't buying it. He squeezed through a wall vent, crawled up into the ceiling, and made it to the roof undetected. Then he tied bed sheets into a rope and rappelled 4 stories down like it was a Mission Impossible scene. Hours later, he was spotted jogging by a local cop. The officer stopped him, asked for ID. McNair gave a fake name, made up a story, and somehow walked away. This wasn't his first rodeo. Years earlier, he literally slipped out of handcuffs using lip balm. Another time, he mailed himself out of prison in a crate. Not a metaphor, he climbed inside a pallet of mail and got forklifted out the door. McNair didn't escape because the system glitched once. He escaped because the system was never built to stop someone like him. Methodical, calm, and always 3 steps ahead. Another incident? Stephen Robeson. Stephen Robeson was on death row. Not life, not 40 to life, death, final stop. But thanks to a paperwork error, he walked right out. In 2001, court staff in Wisconsin mixed up his case files. A document that was supposed to transfer him to another correctional facility was misfiled. Instead, it processed him as released. No flags, no alerts, 1 signature later, gone. And here's the kicker, nobody noticed. He walked out of prison like a free man. No guards chasing, no alarms blaring. For 3 straight days, the state had a convicted killer roaming free. What did Robeson do? He waited. Sat at home, probably confused. Eventually, when it became clear no one was coming, he turned himself back in. Just walked into a sheriff's office and said, "I think I'm not supposed to be out." Most people aren't alone. We were left wondering, a death sentence undone by a few mistyped words. This wasn't a genius escape. This wasn't some elaborate plan. This was the justice system basically saying, oops. Robeson didn't beat the system. The system just forgot how to work. Another incident. Terry Horn. Terry Horn got booked on a low-level charge. Nothing major, some minor assault allegations in Alabama. Should have been in and out, but once the cell door closed, it was like he vanished. No lawyer, no phone calls, no court dates, just nothing. Terry was placed in solitary confinement. 1 man, 1 cell. And somehow, for 2 straight years, the jail completely forgot he was there. Staff turnover, bad records, no follow-up. He became a ghost with a prison number. No one came to check. No one came to talk. He didn't even exist in the digital case system anymore. His family assumed he got transferred. The courts assumed his case was dismissed. You know how he got found? An audit. A random inspection turned up a cell they couldn't account for. Inside was Terry, alive, traumatized, and still waiting for day 1 of a trial that never came. This wasn't just negligence. It was straight up erasure. A glitch that turned jail into purgatory. He didn't break out, he didn't act out, he just got lost by the system that put him there. Another incident. Matthew Garnett. Matthew Garnett didn't climb a wall, he didn't dig a tunnel, he just listened closely. In 2021, while locked up in Arkansas, Garnett noticed another inmate was getting out soon, so he started studying him. Name, date of birth, case number, even how he talked. When release day came, Garnett simply stepped up during roll call and answered for him. That was it. No ID check, no fingerprints, just "yeah, that's me," and a nod. The prison handed over his clothes, his paperwork, and opened the gates. He walked out like he owned the place. It took weeks before anyone realized the real inmate was still behind bars. By then, Garnett was gone. No ankle monitor, no tracking, no clue where he went. Eventually, police caught him again, but not before every department involved had to answer the same brutal question. How does a man escape by talking? This wasn't a glitch in the wall, it was a glitch in attention, and it proved the scariest escape plan isn't violent. It's quiet, invisible, and executed with just the right words. Another incident. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. El Chapo didn't escape from prison. He engineered a jailbreak so insane it made entire governments look like amateurs. In 2015, locked inside Mexico's most secure prison, Joaquin El Chapo Guzman vanished from his cell without a single alarm going off. How? A mile-long tunnel built straight under his shower stall. We're talking lights, ventilation, and a custom-built motorcycle mounted to rails for quick getaway. This wasn't improvised, it took over a year to dig. The exit was in a half-built house in the countryside. Cartel-funded contractors built it like a military op. Blueprints, air quality systems, GPS coordinates, and somehow nobody noticed. Security footage showed El Chapo casually ducking into the shower. He never came back out. Hours passed before guards even realized he was gone. The fallout? Massive. Embarrassment at the highest level. Mexico's president called it a betrayal. The US demanded extradition. But the truth was simple. He beat the system from the inside. When your prisoner has $1 billion empire and better engineers than the prison itself, you're not running a prison. You're just hosting a delay. Another incident. Roy Campos. Roy Campos pulled off one of the boldest, weirdest escapes ever attempted by turning prison into drag rehearsal. In 2017, inside a Peruvian prison, Campos hatched a plan straight out of a comedy sketch. His mom came to visit. When she left, Campos didn't stay behind. He walked out in her clothes. Wig, glasses, full-length floral dress, lipstick. He even swapped shoes. Surveillance showed him shuffling past guards like someone's elderly aunt. Head down, quiet, slow. It almost worked. Almost. One guard noticed something off. Not the face, not the walk, the arms. Campos had muscular, hairy forearms that didn't exactly scream grandma. When they pulled him aside, the wig slipped. Game over. Inside the bag he carried, his prison clothes, neatly folded. The plan was to change and vanish once he got outside the gates. He came that close. The fallout was instant. The warden got fired, guards were suspended. Campos, he got an extended sentence and became a living meme. Some inmates tunnel out, others bribe guards. But Roy Campos went full disguise and nearly walked into freedom on heels. Another incident? Paul LaRue. Paul LaRue didn't need a breakout, he just needed a smartphone. A former software prodigy turned cartel boss, LaRue was locked up in a US federal facility, but from inside his cell, he didn't just survive, he scaled up. Using a phone smuggled in by guards, LaRue coordinated international drug deals, arms shipments, and cyber attacks, global chaos, masterminded from a prison bunk. His reach? Terrifying. Pills moved through Asia, cocaine through Brazil, hackers deployed ransomware in Europe, all while the prison system believed he was cooperating. Turns out he was cooperating with both sides, feeding the DEA just enough to stay useful while secretly running ops from the inside. Eventually the feds caught on, but not before he'd laundered millions, manipulated cartel rivals, and put out hits, all from behind bars. Paul LaRue showed the world that the right kind of criminal doesn't need escape, he just needs access. The system locked him in, but it left the door open to everything else. When your empire runs on SIM cards and silence, a cell doesn't stop you, it protects you. Another incident. William Scott. 2 men. Same name. Same jail. One colossal screw-up. In 2022, at a correctional facility in Illinois, 2 inmates named William Scott were in the system at the same time. Different birthdays, different crimes. But the paperwork? Sloppy. Guards pulled up a file, saw William Scott, and assumed it was time for release. They let the wrong one go. The actual release was for a low-level offender scheduled for probation, but instead a man facing multiple felony charges strolled out the front gate like it was checkout at Walmart. No photo match, no ID verification, just name equals free. Meanwhile, the other William Scott, the one who earned his freedom, stayed locked up. No one believed him when he explained it. Not the guards, not even his own lawyer at first. It took weeks to untangle the mess. Families were notified with the wrong info. Court dates collapsed, and the wrongfully released William long gone before they even realized. 1 name, 2 lives. Total chaos. It didn't take a hacker, a tunnel, or a disguise, just bad paperwork and a system too lazy to look twice. These stories are not just about escape artists, fake names, or guys rappelling out of windows. They're about the cracks, massive, ridiculous cracks in a system that's supposed to be airtight. These aren't one-offs, they're not glitches in the Matrix, they're glitches in reality, where death row inmates walk free, billionaires run drug empires from inside, and someone gets locked in solitary because no one remembered to check the books. When a prison breaks down, it doesn't just affect inmates, it hits families, victims, communities, and it sends one brutal message: no one's actually watching. A system this powerful shouldn't be this careless. But story after story says the same thing: it is. So if you thought prison was the end of the line, think again. In these places the line bends, folds, and sometimes completely disappears. If any of this shocked you, if even one of these glitches made you stare at the screen and say, "No way, that actually happened," go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. And we're just getting started.